Hi. First, our hearts and prayers are with Israel at this difficult moment where the violence has escalated once again between Hamas and the state of Israel. And Israel is trying to defend itself as best as possible, knowing that it's a very difficult situation based on the fact that these rockets go aimless and there are so many that it's hard for Israel to put in place the protection that has created. In addition, that protection, Iron Dome is extremely expensive for Israel. I know this violence will eventually stop, but more importantly, we just continue praying that both sides will have a final understanding that they're there to live in peace and progress and a better life for the people in Gaza and for the people of the region is going to make things better and hopefully will bring peace, a more lasting peace. It's interesting to know that it was Jordan that initiated the escalation in Jerusalem back in 67. Originally, Israel was fighting different fronts, the north and the south, and had no intention of touching Jerusalem. It was after the fact that Jordanians went to fight in Jerusalem that Israel took action and continued and fought and annexed the eastern side of Jerusalem to make it one city again. We begin a new book in Shul, and I'm always amazed how the Torah, in addition of giving us such important information about who we are at that time and what Israel has done through the experience of going through the desert, in many ways, it illuminates what the situation of the Jewish community of Israel is at the time. We begin a Parashat Bamidbar with the counting of who is available for war. Amazingly, the census, that is the first subject in the book of Bamidbar, is a census with the idea that we will count how many soldiers we will have in the eventuality of having to use violence throughout the experience of the desert. So the families of the 12 tribes were allocated positions around the sanctuary, both with the idea that they will be able to defend it and march forward. The children of Aharon and the families of Gershon and Kohat and Merari are stationed on the four sides of the sanctuary, with Yehudai, Sachar, and Zebulun on the east, Reuven, Simon, and Gad on the south, Ephraim, Menashe, and Benjamin on the west, and Dan, Asher, and Naphtali on the north. So after the incident of the golden calf, the firstborn forfeited the rights to serve in the sanctuary, and this privilege was henceforth reserved exclusively for the Levites. Still, we have the ceremony of Pidyon Haben to mark that exemption, that somehow, although the firstborn should be dedicated to activities of the temple, is going to be relegated to only the Levites. There were 273 more firstborn Israelites than Levites, and the former were required to pay 5 shekels per person to Aaron as his sons to secure their redemption. And that's what the ceremony of Pidyon Haben is, the 5 shekels, or 5 silver $1 coins that we use today. Then the Torah will continue talking about Aaron and his children. They're told to how to dismantle the cover and how to move the tabernacle throughout the desert. And it's the duty of the Kohathites to carry the cover, the sacred objects, without actually touching them and without even looking at them. It's a quite remarkable description of how peculiar and how specific this activity around the tabernacle is going to be. And at the very end, we have Elazar. This is Aaron's son, who was in charge over the tabernacle. and with the particular responsibilities of having the oil and the incense and the meal offering ready for action. This is the way Israel prepares itself for eventually war in the Torah, but also prepares itself for the worship of God. And both are within the same Parsha. It's just remarkable how Israel faces life as life is, the same way the Israelis face life today. They have to continue living their lives, and after 5 minutes that you don't hear a siren, you go back to your duties. Life must go on. We have to get to the synagogue. We have to get to the supermarket. We have to take our children to school. Life is not going to stop because Israel is in a war or is in an alert to fight for its life. And that's ultimately what it is. Israel, because of the distances and because of the geography, is constantly defending itself from the possibility that can be attacked and destroyed. It's a vital war. It's a war of self-defense. And we not just support that in terms of the idea of defending oneself, but our prayers and our resources are with Israel. We pray for peace. We pray that this conflict will be solved in a near future. And we hope that all of us will continue coming to Shul to pray for that peace. We will see you hopefully on Friday at 6. We will see you also on Shabbat morning. We have a bar mitzvah of Joe Rosenblatt. And we have other important information that we'll be giving to you very soon regarding the future of the Chazanut at Temple Bethel. On that note, I wish you a good Shabbos to everyone, and Shalom al Israel, Am Israel Chai. Shabbat Shalom.